Ian.
Dave.
We are recording the night before Halloween.
We are, correct. Yes.
Are
Halloween Eve.
Halloween Eve, yes. Are you looking forward to... there's a lot of stuff coming up. Are you looking forward to getting your annual Butterfinger? And that's not a euphemism for something something special between you and your significant other. Your annual Butterfinger. For anyone who doesn't know, Ian has looked at me with a straight face while holding a glass of whiskey. So maybe that explains some things. But looked at me with a straight face, me and another individual, our buddy Mike, I have a witness to this. And you've said you could never have another piece of candy in your entire life and be just fine.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Whenever anybody is like, you once said, I'm like, oh boy, buckle up. I don't know. Because I don't remember what comes out. Then I
added whiskey to the mix.
Right. I was nervous.
Uh-huh.
No, I stand by that. I think that's accurate.
Which, okay. All right. That's fine. Right.
I mean, but I will eat candy. And
right. You will. Yeah.
I will enjoy it at the time. But
sure.
If someone was like, if you eat another piece of candy, you will die. I won't. I'll be like, oh, well, okay.
Right. Meanwhile, I'm like, kill me now. I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory shoving atomic fireballs into my mouth. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But you like to have a Butterfinger candy bar. Like if you're picking, I know this about you. We've been show married long enough that I know. Yeah. And last year I gave you a Butterfinger.
You did.
Because the year before, what happened? You didn't get your annual Butterfinger.
Oh, that's right. Our neighborhood handed out 0 Butterfingers to the children.
Right? Yeah. And who put that in his little brain pocket? Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. So we're recording this for next week. I was thinking about like when we're going to be recording next week with all the stuff coming up. My wife was like, oh, what about, I think she has something going on Tuesday night. She's like, well, what about Tuesday night? And I was like, oh, Ian's not going to want to record. Ian is going to be doing the Clockwork Orange eye drop things into his eyeballs as he can't peel himself from CNN.
I would have like white knuckled on the coffee table, just screaming all night.
Yes.
I'm going to eat so much popcorn and pastina. Like I've decided I'm going to make a comfort foods dinner.
Oh, okay.
With whiskey. And because in 2016, I don't know if you know this. So our friends, Katie and Lauren, came over and we had champagne ready to go.
Previous guests on the show.
Yes. Friends of the show and friends of me personally. And we had champagne in the fridge. And I think about that goddamn bottle of champagne because it also stayed in our fridge for several years after that because we refused to drink it.
Yeah. Why would you drink spiked champagne? Right.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, so election night, you're not going to want to record. Right. No. Yeah. So how are you doing? Because I think you and I have taken very different approaches. Right. Yeah. I'll just briefly give mine. For mental health reasons, I've completely disengaged from the news cycle. I don't go to any news sites or anything like that. I'm very, very distant from it. But obviously I'm still voting. I'm still, obviously very politically active when it comes to actually casting my vote and doing the right thing. So that's made a huge difference for me and very much helped me when I have tons of other, stuff going on mentally. So it's been a critical move on my part. You, Ian, how are you doing? Like, what's been your approach leading up to this?
Yeah, well, I mean, like normal, I completely disregard the need for any self-care or or maintenance of my own mental health, and I go fire hose. I want all of it, good and bad. I need to stare down into the maw.
You will go to like the right wing sites just to see what the comment sections are. Like you will get in there.
Yeah. I like to wallow is what I like to do.
You also like to see other people deal with their copium.
I do. Yes, I do get a lot of schadenfreude from when good things happen to liberals or Democrats. I do enjoy watching the cope on Fox News. That's one of the most delicious things. So, but I also will turn it on to see how they are gloating. So, like, I like to see. Yeah, Democrats coping, I really don't like. Oh man, it's a real bummer. I would rather get angry at the gloating, than Democrat cope is. Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad.
It's not good, buddy. Not good. Yeah. So,
but yeah, I did realize though that we talked about this. We talk about politics quite a bit on this show, and I think we've addressed why we are voting the way we are voting. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, Jeff Bezos did buy us out, and so we are no longer making an official recommendation. But no, so obviously we are endorsing Kamala Harris for president.
Absolutely.
Which means, yeah. The 7 people who are listening to this who are probably going to vote for her anyway.
I'm tearing down an RFK banner behind me quietly. Like, oh, wait. Yeah, Kamala. Yeah.
But I don't think there are many. I can't imagine there's a lot of people who are excited to vote for Trump who are listening to us. But it did occur to me that there could be maybe some people who are not planning to vote at all who might be listening to us.
Yeah.
And I did want to address that because it was like, I think that I have a very specific perspective on this, which is that I was old enough to vote. My first election was in the year 2000.
And we all know that was a very fun election.
Yeah. That was another one where I was up all night watching the fucking hanging chads. And
I was going to say all night into so you were up like 48 hours straight. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I was like 18. So I was up. And I voted that election for Ralph Nader because I had convinced myself that there was no difference between Al Gore and George W. Bush, which seems fucking idiotic now, right? Like it seems.
Yeah, I think I did the same thing, Ian. I think I did. Yeah.
However, I was within a few years deployed to the war that George W. Bush started.
Yes.
So if you think that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have no difference, especially on the Gaza issue or Israel issue, just know that however bad you think the person who would ostensibly be on your team is, and I know that I also feel it the hardest when I think that someone on like my team is fucking up. I find that harder to deal with than I already know those other guys are idiots, right?
Right.
If you're going to tell yourself that there's no difference or you're doing something morally correct by not voting for her, just know that it can and will be way worse, even for this particular issue. And the idea that it's not, that sitting it out is is the moral high ground. I can tell you from personal experience, you will regret.
Yeah, absolutely. And like whatever argument you've backed yourself into, like when it comes to that, it really doesn't hold water. Like, like you can plead like statistical irrelevance. You can plead like that, like I'm already in such a state, but like you're the one who has to live with your vote at the end of the day. And I don't know. Yeah.
And tactically, it doesn't make sense either because I think a lot of people say that, this is how I'm going to send a message to Democrats. It's the only way that they'll listen to you. But literally, if you take yourself out of the game, then the only leverage you have is that you do participate.
Right. You're telling people that your demographic is statistically irrelevant.
Yeah. Right. And also, again, like the things that will happen on whatever issue you think you're protesting by not voting for her will be, I promise you, will be worse.
Right.
With Trump. I mean, he's been talking, I know you haven't been following the news, but he's been talking about how he has said publicly that he has been talking to Netanyahu on the phone regularly, trying to get him to not sign a ceasefire until after the election, which is an unbelievably psychotic looking thing to do. Right. Like, I mean, there's a history of this too, which was this was a big scandal in the 70s with Nixon, or in the 60s. Sorry, when Nixon was first elected in '68, he had Kissinger was advocating against, like, he scuttled peace talks that could have ended the Vietnam War like 5 years earlier, and hundreds of thousands of people would still be alive. Because he knew it would be bad for Johnson and it would sink Johnson, and that's what happened.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so basically Trump is doing the same thing.
Right. I mean, it's the plot of a Veep episode, right?
Yeah.
Like what the hell?
Yeah, except with like real lives.
Real stakes, horrible consequences.
So yes, I also disagree with a lot of, some. I wouldn't say a lot of things. Some things with Biden and Harris, but taking yourself out of the game, I promise you, as satisfying as it might feel in the moment, you will regret it.
Yeah. I agree.
Anyway, that's my soapbox for this evening.
No, I appreciate it because we do talk about politics a lot, but I don't think we've really kind of like talked about, very, what's the term? Prescient stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah. So
listen to the old men talking to you now.
Right. Take it from us, two white guys.
Well, but, yeah. I mean, we're the ones that the white guys are fucking it up. So we're in a good position to talk about how not to fuck it up.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. There's always some kind of mental gymnastics that people can perform to kind of like back up their arguments. We're all guilty of it. Like, it's human nature, right? To kind of like, to support like an instinct, and that's the whole reason it's called like confirmation bias, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. We absolutely implore people to get out and vote for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was just going to say, the thing that I find maddening sometimes is just like the whole like, well, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not even going to get into it, Ian. I'm not even going to drag you in.
Yeah. Come along with me. Let's do it.
I'm pulling back. I'm going to my happy place. It's just full of taffy and Fiat 500 bars that are working most of the time. Okay. All right. I'm just in my head. I need turbo noises. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but there you go. I do have a segue from that, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Ian, I let another stranger, but like I let another person drive my Fiat 500 to Barth, Ian.
Okay.
Yeah. So our dear beloved friend PETA, right, up in Dillon, he works for a fantastic company called Mountain Goat Mechanical. Okay. If you're in Summit County and you need all things mechanical, definitely use them. They're amazing. But he has a coworker named Elijah. Young kid. Mm-hmm. Were you there when we went karting with Elijah?
I don't remember if it was Elijah that was there. We went karting with one of his coworkers. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, it was Elijah for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Elijah's, young kid, hasn't bought a car yet. Very hungry to buy one. He's gotten to drive PETA's M3. He's gotten to drive PETA's S4. Mm-hmm. And so he's kind of getting spoiled on like what his yardstick is going to be for his first car.
Yeah.
Right?
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, let's, round this out and let's take the Fiat 500 for a drive. So I was up there in Dillon helping PETA with some of the construction stuff going on at his house. and we carved out a little time to go for like just a quick, like, switchback cut up around there with Elijah and one of Elijah's friends. So I let Elijah drive my 500 Abarth and just like sat in the passenger seat and just watched the whole thing through his eyes. And it was absolutely my happy place, man. Like, I love seeing people experience that car and like telling him like, yeah, no, like go for it. Like you can go for it here, like that kind of stuff, So I don't know. Share your cars with people, man. Like it's very rewarding and I love it very much. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. So yeah, I mean, like after you've driven PETA's M3 as like a 20-year-old, where do you go from there, right? Like,
yeah.
Right? Do you think that you had an early driving experience that like kind of tilted you like, or kind of like maybe like, I don't know, set the bar a little too high for like other driving experiences when you were young?
I mean, I definitely was, from my whole family, my dad and everybody that I drove with, everyone drove very fast,
right,
and aggressively and all that. I'm trying to think. I definitely went and test drove a ton of, like, talked my way into test drives of a bunch of cars. That was like my big pastime that I did.
Yes.
So I drove a lot of the like sort of, I guess they would be kind of the equivalents of those cars today, right? But back then, so like cars from the late 90s that were like the Celicas and the Focus STs and the all of those, or the SVT Focus, and like all of those sorts of hot hatches, but nothing's like super high end. I think that M3, PETA's M3 was my favorite car in high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there was a guy in my town who had that dark blue, and it was a 98 M3, and I just lusted after that car for years.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's so interesting to like be a young person and have exposure to a car, like to like really just like get a new data point on like all future references from here on out. Right. Because they're so few and far between, right? Like at that age, right? Like I'm thinking when I was 18, I think I had driven, of course, Nissan pickup trucks, minivans, and I don't know. Yeah, like a Volkswagen Corrado, like as a test drive, Yeah.
So, I did learn to drive stick in my dad's SHO and then his Audi A4.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Right. But yeah, just having that like point on like your like car affinity map from then on is so interesting. Like, yeah, I don't know.
So what did he think about the Fiat 500?
Oh, he loved it. Yeah. He thought it was hilarious. Yeah. All of the noises, like, yeah. And yeah, I didn't let him short shift it. I was like, no, like you stay in gear. Like like, we're keeping it over 3,500 RPM the entire time, Yeah. And at one point, like he went to like grab fifth gear and I was like, no.
He slapped his hand.
Yeah. I've got like a nun ruler. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like fifth gears for like 70 miles an hour and over, but yeah, so it was great. Yeah. PETA said he was talking about it after he had driven it like at work the following week and stuff. And yeah,
that's great.
So yeah, it's awesome to share that,
it's definitely a car that gets under your skin. So he'll be thinking about that for a long time, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's either going to influence him in a very good or a very bad way.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. You can't have no movement from there, Yeah. So I don't know. For your sons, for your kids, like, what do you think would be like an ideal, like first kind of like car experience after they, like, let's say they're 18, they've had like, say a beater Toyota Camry or something like that. Like, what do you would kind of envision as like, if you could just kind of like,
if I could buy them any first car.
Well, like maybe like they have like a beater car, but like to put that data point on in their heads, and like you've got like a pretty wild. You have like say like you could drive anything on Colorado Craigslist at a given time.
Yeah,
right.
No, that's
like,
a good question.
Yeah,
I think they've two very different answers because they're two very different.
Yeah, right.
I think for our oldest Nico, he is very into outdoors and climbing, and he doesn't care about aesthetics as much. So I think getting him into like a rock crawler of some sort, or something where he could like access, or like an overland vehicle of some sort. I think he'd be like, whoa, this is what's possible. Like a really well done, like kitted out like Tacoma or something like that.
Sure.
Set up for overlanding. Gus, our youngest, I think getting him into like letting him ride in like a Rolls Royce or a Bentley.
Right.
Our like luxury boy. Yeah, that he'd be like, whoa, the seat can massage me.
Right. Yeah, even like a long wheelbase Lexus sedan, right? Like,
yes, absolutely.
Right? Yeah. I get that. That's really cool. Like that you want to put like those kinds of different data points on their maps. That's amazing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I love that. So much.
Yeah, because Nico would get in the back of like a stretch Lexus or something and be like, this thing can't go off road.
Right. Yeah, he'd climb out the sunroof and like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love that.
And Gus would be like, he would get in the thing and he'd be like, where am I supposed to put my martini?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I'm gonna spill my drink if I am in this overland truck.
Right, yeah. I just picture him walking around with a Shirley Temple. Like, yeah. Oh, I love it, man. Yeah, and that's part of being a great parent is like recognizing those kinds of like those wonderful things to like, to recognize about each of your kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're two different kids, like you parent them different ways. I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, cool, man. Cool.
Can I had an experience.
Yeah. Let's talk about it, buddy.
Yes. So I was in Atlanta for work, and I did what most people do, which is rent a car and drive an hour and a half each way to go-karting.
You had to go that far outside of Atlanta to go go-karting?
Oh yeah, it was real far. But okay, so I had seen like on Instagram video from this kart place, and I was like, oh my god, it's supposed to be like it's again? Atlanta Motorsports Park.
Okay.
And it's like a legit like kart track with big elevation changes. So that's the main track, and then if you look there's the go-kart track right there.
Yeah.
Here, AMP kart racing. It's like a 4-story difference between the top of the track and the bottom of the track.
Okay.
It's pretty wild. They're pretty good rental carts. They say they do 55 miles an hour at the end of the straight, and I believe it.
Okay.
You top it out. Like I could duck down and hear the RPMs change.
Oh, okay.
So you're at the limit of the cart.
Right.
It's pretty great.
Okay.
And the staff was awesome. Now, I want to say that all of that before I get to the story.
Yes.
So I get there, and keep in mind, I booked myself 5 races. And drove an hour and a half because I was like, if I'm driving an hour and a half, I would want to make sure that I get seat time.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be able to come back. And so I get there early, and I'm getting ready I'm waiting for my heat to start, and I hear a big commotion, and I look, and one of the carts is on fire.
No.
one of the carts caught fire. I think they were fueling and spilled some fuel like onto the hot exhaust or something.
Oh no.
And a couple of the employees handled it with aplomb. They did great.
Okay.
A couple of the employees did not. They were running around and screaming. And one of the fire extinguishers didn't work. And I happened to see where there was a fire extinguisher. So I like walked over and grabbed the fire extinguisher and then like gave it to one of the calmer employees. And like they got it out and like it was fine. But then there was like a long delay because they had to like clean the carts off and get all the smoke out of the where the pit area was and like all that sort of stuff. So it took a long time and there was a lot of like kind of irritated people.
Sure.
And like there was a lot of confusion, like are we gonna get to race and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And I did my best. I was also getting a little antsy because I was like, I hope they're gonna give me a refund if they can't get me in because I'm not coming back here.
Right.
And so I just like talked to one of the employees who had been kind of calm and sort of like directing people and stuff like that. His name was Will. He was awesome.
Okay.
And I told him, hey, I'm from out of town. I'm here by myself. I'm just trying to race. And so he was like, I got you. We'll be fine. And I think it helped that I was also being calm and not getting in because there was another guy who was causing like a real scene at the counter.
Yes. Yelling at the people at the counter is definitely going to put you in a cart faster, dude.
Yelling at the poor like 20-year-old kid who's like trying to like work the counter.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, I waited around and finally I got to go. And Dave, this track is amazing.
Okay.
It's so much fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quick. And you're busy.
Okay.
So it was designed by Herman Tilke, who does like all the F1 tracks.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can see a picture. If there's
I want to see like a map.
Of the track itself.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. You arrive at the end of the straight, like I said, completely topped out, and you're going into a hairpin.
Okay. Are any of these pictures it?
Those I believe are the big track. The one from Reddit on the right hand side here, I think if you zoom in, has the kart track as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so there's some genuinely kind of scary parts to it.
Okay.
And including like a like Laguna Seca style.
I was going to say from like one of the images, it looked like there might be like kind of like a corkscrew kind of thing in this.
There's a corkscrew. There's a couple of like really big elevation changes in it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good map.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Atlanta Motorsports Park. Oh wait, is that the
1.83 miles, 16 turns?
I think that's the big track, but I think it looks a lot like the kart track.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the main, like the big car track.
Gotcha. Okay.
I should have grabbed, but you can see the elevation here and that on that picture where they're like going up the hill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's some big drops, and I wasn't sure what to do. So like at one point I had this battle with another guy who had been there before, and I was way faster than him in a couple of sections of the track. But there was one section that I was slower than him on because like he just went full send. Like, down that corkscrew. And I was like, couldn't figure out my entry speed on that one because it's blind as well. So you're like coming up the hill, and then there's a hairpin, and you go right back down the hill.
Oh wow! Okay,
it's pretty crazy. And then like figuring out like some of the curbs were really high. So you had to like, you can use some of the curbs, but not all of them.
Sure.
So anyway, I went out like the first time, and the guy, Will, who had been helping me out, was like, "You're quick, aren't you?" And I was like, well, I'm okay. And he was like, "No, you're fast. I'm gonna
see." So this is what I tell everyone because it's true, and a stranger recognizes it. So yeah, you're fast.
Well, it turns out he has the lap record at the thing. So the first lap I did, I had like a 51 something, like a low 51s. And he's like, "That's really good for your first time." It's like, okay, cool. But then I was in a heat with 23 cars.
Oh, 23
carts, which was crazy.
Can you imagine how weird Dave would be with 23 other people?
Well, and that was the hardest thing. It was that being at a track that I didn't know that well, it made it harder to manage the traffic because I knew how I needed to improve in each corner, but I didn't know the ways in which other people would fuck them up.
Right. So, and you didn't know where it was safe to like be weird, right?
Yeah, right. Like, are they going to see me here? Like, yeah, it was so like learning that at the same time as learning the carts and the track was interesting with 23 cars.
Yeah, that's wild.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got and then eventually I got to race with just Will and one other employee.
Yeah.
And so I got to like follow his line. And one section, it was like the other pictures that you saw where you could see the building in the background. There's that like a sweeper that goes up the hill onto like the longest straight where you do hit like 55 miles an hour. The entry onto that straight. I followed his line through there and I was like, holy shit, this is way faster.
Okay, nice.
And so he was like slowing down and coming behind me and watching me and stuff like that. And he was like, oh yeah, he said at one point that he could tell I watched his line because he couldn't catch me through there.
Okay.
But yeah, I got my time down to like a 49.2.
Sweet.
And he said the track record is like a high 47 or mid 47s.
Wow.
Like
okay. Dude, that's amazing for a track of that size, like, and carts that speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The brakes, I will say, I really like the carts because the brakes were pretty easy to modulate. The last cart that I had, I think, he said that it was probably like brand new pads or whatever because they were really hard to modulate. So I did spin it. I spun that one once because the brakes were like an on-off switch. You had to be like super gentle with them.
Gotcha. Okay.
But most of the other carts, you could actually like trail brake it.
Okay.
And everything, like you could get fancy with the brakes, which is cool.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, I highly recommend that kart track. The rental kart program is great. The employees were awesome, and it was a blast. I was like, 8 minutes goes by fast on a track that size.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Will,
if you somehow find this, send us your address. We'll send you some Apex adjacent stickers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. You got to travel with those things, buddy.
I know I do. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. Atlanta Motorsports Park.
Mm-hmm.
Right on, dude. Okay.
Yeah. So happy when it was the most, the best public kart track I've ever been to. That one and the one in New Orleans are my two favorites, I think.
That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. And I love how each of them are in their own way, right? Because the one in NOLA is very flat, right? Like
because it's in a fucking swamp. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is literally sea level. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Versus the rolling hills of, outside Atlanta. That's amazing.
Yeah. And at one point it was starting to spit with rain, so it got real greasy.
Oh, okay.
And like it was on the one where it had 23 people in it. And so I was going offline a bunch and it was like, whoa, okay. Yeah. I had some sketchy-ish moments there, but it was a blast.
That's amazing, man. That's so rad. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you avoided the fire. And absolutely. Nice. Yep. Well done, man.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
That's rad. Oh, God. I'm hungry for some outdoor karting.
I know.
Right?
I know. It's coming back to Denver.
It is.
So
right?
We're getting close.
Yeah.
What do we say? Should we do a game or two?
We should definitely do a game. I just have a quick my eyes that I think like talking about like late 90s cars, I think you might get a kick out of. I was sitting in traffic near my house. I don't know, maybe a month ago. I keep forgetting to bring this up on the show. It's a beautiful day. I had the windows down in the Nuggie. I pulled up next to a red little coupe at a stoplight, and I look over, and it is this like insanely clean Honda Del Sol. Red, like what years was the Del Sol made? Like 1990,
mid 90s, right?
Forward, yeah, maybe like a 96 Del Sol. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So here, I'll share it again. Yeah. So I mean, it essentially looked exactly. It looked like it rolled off the showroom floor. It was mint.
Nice.
And there was a lady driving it. A young woman, and I was like, hey, your Honda is so clean. It looks amazing. And she was like, oh, thank you. It used to belong to my mother. Like it was her car.
Oh, that's great.
I was like, that's amazing. And she said it only had 78,000 miles on it. She's like, it has 70, and like looked at the odometer, 78,000. It's like, that's holy. Crazy. And then to top it off, then like 3 little like weird Chihuahua dogs like pop their heads up.
Right. I can't get rid of them. They live in here.
Yeah. Do you know what to do about these? Yeah. But like
nothing in the owner's manual about them.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's the time the Yokero Taco Bell ads were going, right?
Right. Yeah.
But man, I have not seen like a showroom quality Honda for a while, right? I mean, like, Honda gang is strong, right? Mm-hmm. And like so many of them like preserve the car. Yeah. But just from like how I walk through life, I don't intersect with them much. Dude, it looked amazing. It was stock wheels. It was so clean. So that's clean. Great. Yeah. You stop in your tracks when you see something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah. So I just wanted to shout that out because goddamn, Del Sol, man. I know they're not fast. I know they're not great, but man, yeah, she was enjoying it. So it was a cool car. So
and they just like so many other things now, especially when they look new, they stand out in traffic, like because they don't look like a blob small SUV. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So we're both there at the stoplight in our tiny cars. Yeah. Having a good time. So yeah. Right that's on. Good. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Real nice. I feel like we're already going along a little bit. Should we do a license plate game?
We should do it.
I'm excited about my album of the week for you because I think
okay.
Like it. Yeah.
We're not going long, Ian. You just got ants in your pants.
I do.
I prepared a version of the reverse license plate game for you that I think you're gonna like.
Ooh, okay.
We have 2 listener reverse license plate games for us.
Oh wow.
Okay. One of them knew that they were submitting one. The other one didn't.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. And then and then if whatever you want to do, buddy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
Let's do the reverse license plate game. That was fun. I'm excited to be on the receiving end.
Yes. Okay. So you want to do the listeners or mine first?
Let's do yours first.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Ian, don't look. I think you're gonna like the format here. Okay. This one is reverse license plate game number 1, right? Monster. Okay. Oh. So check this out. Here's what I put together for you. All right. So Ian, these are 3 cars that all have the Monster vanity plate.
Oh,
from 3 different states. We have a Colorado Monster, a New York Monster, and a Washington State Monster. And 3 cars. We have a 1983 Cadillac DeVille, a 2007 Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT8, and a 1998 Lincoln Navigator. Which state goes with which car? Who is the monster in their given state?
Oh, that's good. Oh, I like that.
Okay. And I found a website where you can generate these images of a vanity license plate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to just slam them in because I think have a vibe, and I'm just going off of it. I really want the New York car to be the Cadillac DeVille.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that just fits.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these are not the actual cars, right? These are just examples
that
I found on the internet. Yeah. And so I put where I found them here. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm going to say that New York Monster is the Caddy.
Okay.
I think.
Like, do you just picture like mobsters in tracksuits riding around in it, or like what is the visual imagery?
Yeah. Yeah. As a Italian American, a Guido, right? That's what I'm picturing. Someone with a very greasy piece of pizza.
Uh-huh.
Very boisterous, loud, shouting at people out his window. That's what I'm picturing.
A pinky ring, perhaps?
100% a pinky ring.
Okay.
A pinky ring of a human being drives a Cadillac and has the license plate monster.
You are correct. A sentient pinky ring.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And then I'm going to say this one's a little tougher, I feel like. No, got it. Okay. I think Monster is Washington State, and Washington State is the Lincoln Navigator.
Okay.
And Colorado has the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT8.
Okay. Explain yourself.
I think Monster, because I think Monster may mean 3 different things in each state. And so I think New York, he's a monster. It's like the sentient pinky ring. And then in Colorado, I think it's much more like extreme, like
okay.
So they're ripping up the mountain to go snowboarding in their SRT8, right, Grand Cherokee.
Okay.
And then I think this is .com pre-bust money, monster.com.
Oh.
Someone did the monster.com IPO and bought their Lincoln Navigator with it in 1998 and has been rocking it ever since.
Okay. I like where your head's at. Yeah. And now they're shuttling the hockey team around.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Okay. All right, Ian, I got answers for you. Boom. 3 out of 3.
Really?
Yep, absolutely. You're spot on, man. You are spot on. Also, I think it helps that like we know the Colorado person that has Monster on their license plate.
Yeah.
And like the Colorado, there's like, okay, so the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT8, the SRT8 folks, like those are a whole thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, they come into work on Monday and talk about the POW that was so gnar.
Right.
All week, over the weekend. Yeah,
right.
For sure.
But then there's like the Colorado SRT8 folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's just a different kind of spin on them. And I think you really nailed it, buddy.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's a good one. I like that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, nice. Okay. So there we go. And then, our buddy Mark sent in one, and he just said, this is Colorado. He said, I got to pull it up on my text here. The plate is devolve, spelled just straight DEVOLVE.
Mm-hmm.
And he has an interesting tidbit before you jump to a conclusion here.
Okay.
He said something. He said the interesting thing about it is what it isn't. Let me see here. One of the things that makes this great is that it's a reference to what it is not. Mark, you are perplexing me.
It's a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Colorado license plate. Okay. I'm going to go with, I want to go with Volvo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not an Evo.
Right,
it's not an Evo.
Just a Lancer.
Just a Lancer.
Right.
Yes.
Oh man, I bet you're right. So I got to think of something else. Yeah. Devolve. Oh man, I mean,
or a smart car.
yeah. The only thing I can think of is like maybe a Tesla. Like, seem like a Tesla person maybe reaching, but I bet you are right. So yeah, let's see. Devolve, Ian. It is come on, big money. It is a Mitsubishi Lancer. Boom. Nice, Ian. Nice, dude.
On fire.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well done.
That was a good one.
Well done. Now I have one that I know. So our buddy Eric has submitted, like he sends us vanity plates all the time. And we love you, Eric. Thank you for sending them in. Yeah. So Eric has sent in the same plate on a different car. And this is the one that I thought I had seen, but I think it was actually Eric who has seen it.
Okay.
So the plate, let me get it for you here. It is, oh boy, where is it?
Is it in the talkabouts
here? Oh, yes. It is Pigbucks, Pigbuks. Okay, so I want you to try to guess what the first car is that he sent in that had the Pigbuks plate. And then if you'd like, I'll show it to you. And then I want you to guess what the second car is.
I mean, my first thought is that it's like an F-250 or something. That like it's somebody who works in, raising hogs and sold their farm or something and is paid for their car with pig bucks. I don't know.
And I didn't know if it had a meaning that I didn't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pig.
But I'm picturing like a King Ranch, like a nice truck.
Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing.
Pigbuks. I love guns and bacon. Pigbuks coffee. There's a coffee company, I guess, out there called Pigbuks. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So would you like to see the first plate then?
Yeah. Show me the first one. Because that's what I'm picturing. I'm picturing like a King Ranch.
Sure. Here is the first plate. It is on a 1998 Honda CRV.
With a Tasmanian devil ill-fitting tire cover.
Yes. Back off, Ian. Back off.
Okay. Well, I mean, I have no idea what Pigbuks means, I guess.
Right.
I think. Okay. So the question now is, what did they get out of and into?
Yes. What has this plate been unscrewed from and then reapplied to or applied to?
Is there any chance I'm going to get this right?
There is a 98% chance you're going to get this right.
Is it just a newer CRV?
I mean, yeah, you can guess that.
It's just another CRV.
It's another CRV.
Yeah.
It's just another. All they've done is upgrade their Honda CRV, and now they don't have a place to put their Taz wheel cover, Ian.
It's under the car.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So there you go.
Pigbuks. That's an interesting one. I want to have a conversation with them.
Yeah. So thank you for sending that in, Eric, even though you didn't realize you were submitting something to the reverse license plate game. You did. Yeah. Right. So there you go, Ian.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
What are we doing next? What do we got?
Yeah, you want to do an album of the week? You want to do another? I mean, I have a normal license plate game. Whatever you want to do, buddy. Yeah,
I'd say let's keep it toy tonight.
Okay.
I'm sleepy. I just got off an airplane.
You did. You've had a long day.
And I'm excited about this album because I think you're gonna like it. Because I think I've been asking a lot of you to go pretty far outside your genre wheelhouse. These last few albums.
Heaven forbid. I live such an effing charmed life that I have to listen to an album that I can appreciate but probably won't listen to again a couple times for my buddy Ian so I can talk to him about it. Heaven forbid.
Yeah.
Ian, you're really putting me out here, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, friendship on thin ice.
Well, I think you're going to really like this one because we are back in hip hop land. Okay. And like kind of avant-garde alternative hip hop which is kind of where we both live, I think.
Yeah.
And there's a new album by Elucid, who has a side project with someone else. I've had that Billy Woods.
Oh yeah.
Record from last year.
I just listened to that within the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
So they have a different project called Armand Hammer. Together, right? That's this guy and Billy Woods together. And then Elucid, Revelator, just came out, and it is his solo record. I think you're gonna really like it. It's
okay.
The production is pretty wild. Like, he does a ton of different genres. There'll definitely be the opening track is really cool.
Okay.
And the whole record is great. The rapping is great. And the production is amazing. So it is very much up your alley.
Nice. Okay. Elucid, Revelator.
Yes.
Yeah. Links to Bandcamp, Apple Music, and Spotify in the YouTube description. Yeah. Nice, dude. Okay. Hey, I'm always down for some weird hip hop, for somebody like, messing around. I love LPs stuff so much, Yeah, but I was playing some stuff a while ago, just like I have a playlist of like stuff like I added, like on certain days that I did like big Bandcamp purchases. And so like I just hit shuffle on one of those, and the Billy Woods album with like all the in-flight safety manual artwork was on there. Yeah, It's good, man. It's good. I dig it.
Yeah, I really like that record a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, nice. If you like that, you'll definitely like this.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking forward to listening to it. Yeah. You'll probably just find me like in a dark room with headphones on election night, just listening to this, Ian.
Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah. No, yeah. My wife and I were talking about like, what we need to do to distract ourselves. So yeah, we'll figure it out. But
yeah. Yes. So next week, everybody, please vote, but also take care of yourself. Stay calm. We're going to be, I don't know, fine-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, don't get too stressed. You can help it.
Yeah. Take care of yourselves, folks. Right. Yeah. Your mental health is definitely priority number one. So whatever you got to do to protect yourself, please do it. Yeah, absolutely. Take care of yourself. Yeah. If you need help, reach out to somebody. Absolutely take care of yourself. So,
and if you need to know that somebody is staring into the abyss to know what's down there, just know that I will be. Yeah. So you don't have to.
Yeah. You're like the political news anglerfish, just down there at the bottom with the light on your head, just like gobbling shit up.
Yeah.
What's this over here? Chomp, chomp, chomp.
Oh, I can get Newsmax now.
Yeah. Oh, they just have a web interface for Truth Social. Okay.
Yep.
Nice, buddy. Nice. Okay. Well, yeah, but please, take care of yourselves, everybody. Yeah. Oh.
Yes. Dave, we done did a car show.
We did. I look forward to giving you your annual Butterfinger later on.
That's not the name of this episode.
It is absolutely the name of the episode.
Annual Butterfinger.
Everybody,
again, vote. Take care of yourselves. 720-515-1391. You can just send us some texts on election night if you want. I'll also be hanging out on Blue Sky if you want to
There you go. That's where you chat with my boy. Yeah.
Yeah. But in the meantime, vote. Thank you. We love you. Goodbye.